The 5th generation of Monster Hunter has added plenty of new features and quality of life functions, making the game more accessible to new players while remaining familiar to longtime fans. One such overhaul is the Insect Glaive's partner in crime, the Kinsect. The development team behind World certainly did a good job in reducing the tediousness of the Kinsect's customization, but did that have the unintended effect of reducing player expression? To answer that, we'll be taking a look at the changes made to the weapon over the years. In today's video, I'll be discussing the simplification of the Kinsect and its impact on gameplay. Before hopping into the magnitude of the changes, we'll start with how the Kinsects operate in 4th generation. A Kinsect works alongside the Insect Glaive and is sent out to gather extracts by attacking certain monster parts. The Kinsect can then be recalled to provide the extract to the hunter. The 4 types of extract are red, white, orange, and green. Red increases damage and grants hunters access to empowered attacks for 60 seconds. White increases speed for 90 seconds. Orange increases defense and knockback resistance for 45 seconds. And green restores a small amount of health. When having more than one extract, the aforementioned effects are strengthened, such as orange and white, further improving defense gain. Whenever you purchase an Insect Glaive, one of 2 Kinsect types accompany the sale and is dependent on the material tree. Generally, iron trees come with a cold drone, which inflicts cutting damage, while bone trees come with a maul drone that inflicts blunt damage. Just as it sounds, their damage type can sever tails or stun monsters respectively. Each Kinsect came with stats that differed in their titles. In Monster Hunter 4, its stats were power, speed, and stamina. Power increased the Kinsect's damage, speed increased its movement when casted and recalled, and stamina raised the maximum number of orders it could receive while active. In Generations, stamina was attached to the Kinsect's level, and they added the weight stat, which affected the Kinsect's ability to flinch the monster. These stats could be upgraded by providing the Kinsect with jelly or nectar that can be gathered in the locales, awarded from quests, and purchased from the Wycoon or any other point-related shop. Kinsects weren't all about raw damage, as they could also be given elemental properties depending on the nectar provided. One big missed opportunity, in my personal opinion, was not allowing them to have status ailments. And before you type, no, not the dust, I'm talking the Kinsect itself. Each time a Kinsect is provided a nectar, it will lose a stat opposite to the upgraded one. Power loses speed, speed loses stamina, and stamina loses power. Depending on the type of nectar provided, the Kinsect may even lose an element. Even the elemental nectar will take an opposing element and a stat. Feeding a Kinsect enough nectar will fill a bar labeled Growth. Once filled, the Kinsect can then be leveled up in a separate screen similar to how weapons can be upgraded by spending Zenny and materials. Leveling up a Kinsect enough times will offer it the option to evolve into one of many different forms, like how weapons can be upgraded to different trees. These evolutions can only occur when the Kinsect has met certain stat requirements related to its power, stamina, and/or speed. This changes the Kinsect's physical appearance and grants various bonus effects. Effects like increased healing on green extracts, doubling extract duration, and type-specific bonuses to name a few. Generations introduced extract skills that grant bonuses to the hunter for receiving certain extracts, such as red restoring sharpness, or white granting affinity. Despite this level of complexity, the weapon benefited from a form of expression that only gunners could experience a fraction of, as Kinsects could be uniquely tailored to suit your wants and needs. This could be seen in both offensive and supportive forms. The Kinsects can play a more active role by being sent out religiously to deal extra effects like stun while the hunter uses a paralysis glaive. Likewise, it can also have a hands-off approach by having the extract duration double skill, which would reduce the frequency in which the player has to interact with the extract minigame to focus more on other aspects of the hunt. Starting in World, the Kinsect mechanics were dramatically improved with the additions of aiming the Kinsect harvest, allowing the Kinsect to remain out and attack marked parts, and the ability to create status dust from attacking marked parts. The system behind the Kinsects, though, were simplified nearly to the point of regression. They could still be purchased alongside a glaive, but now they could also be bought individually, which is a major plus, by the way. However, Kinsects are no longer fed jelly to level up and are instead upgraded like weapons and armor by providing zenny and materials following their respective tree, otherwise known as a lineage. This isn't a bad addition, as it reduces the workload required in previous generations while also allowing players to see what it is that they're working toward. By upgrading the Kinsect, its power, speed, and ability to heal are also improved and locked at a maximum dependent on their lineage. Elements are able to be purchased and only affect the power stat, lowering it by a single level. In World, Dust is king, and specifically, Blast Dust is king. Gameplay revolved around gathering extract, marking the monster to allow the Kinsect to attack and build dust, and triggering the dust explosion to do damage and eventually build toward a blast explosion. This is true regardless of whether the player was ground, playstyle, or air. Kinsect bonuses were carried over but were reduced in tone and attached to the glaive. Rather than additional effects, it simply improved a stat or two such as severing, blunt, speed, and etc. Rise also threw its hat in the ring with changes that are at times questionable but still noteworthy. Kinsects are no longer upgraded and are instead unlocked and can be purchased while progressing through the game. Their levels are directly tied to the insect glaive itself, with an exclusive Kinsect level stat per weapon. Each Kinsect can now have one of 4 types: Normal, which is exclusive to the Coal Drone and Maul Drone; Speed, which grants a background charge to increase the next Kinsect attack; Powder, like that found in World; and Assist, which lets the Kinsect attack alongside the glaive when all 3 extracts have been collected. Furthermore, the Kinsect's element is directly tied to the weapon and does not work when paired with a blunt Kinsect. Once again, the weapon has been reduced in complexity, but it more than makes up for it by at least providing different bonuses for the Kinsect. Considering Kinsect is an integral part of the weapon, it's nice to see that it's starting to act like it. While the blunt assist type Kinsect may have been the most used, the others were still given their due, like Powder Vortex dealing massive damage and applying whatever status was present at a faster rate. So the question is, do these changes make for more engaging and accessible gameplay? The debut generation required considerable effort when it came to farming for the Kinsect. Not only were you spending zenny and materials on the glaive, but you also needed nectar and a separate zenny and material cost. Gathering and shopping for nectar were time-consuming in their own right and made for a progression system that didn't run parallel to that of other weapons. By stripping some of the more complex and grindy elements, players who were just starting the series wouldn't be turned off by the many layers required to use the weapon effectively over the course of the game. Combat-wise, the Kinsect feels more interactive through better aiming and active participation that doesn't relegate the bug to a simple buff grabber. A regrettable change is the loss of extract skills, which really played a vital role in how players pursued and maintained their buffs. The different skill combinations combined with the Kinsect's own bonuses had a way of attempting to promote using the Kinsect more and improving the game plan that a player would originally have. Personally, I feel they should reintroduce Kinsect and extract skills under a different formula. A separate menu in the smithy where you can offer zenny and/or materials to equip an extract skill. A bug's lineage could have fixed Kinsect skills to differentiate it from the others, while the extract skills should be customizable. If you're a longtime viewer of my channel, you'd know that above all else, I love player choice. If you want a blunt assist Kinsect that has power and stunned Kinsect skills to be equipped with red extract skills that boost sharpness or whatever damage increasing thing, then by all means. Likewise, if you want to focus on defense or healing, having that choice should be prevalent. To wrap things up, the Kinsect has received changes that may have reduced its complexity, but have been made more accessible and convenient. This simplification has been rivaled by boosting the interactivity of the bug during hunts. While there's still some aspects to work on, it has certainly come a long way from its complicated origin. Either way, I hope you enjoyed the video. I don't play the insect glaive like that, and until next time.